and giving us important factors of Evolve to 75, which is our featured product for today's webinar. So having said that, let me welcome all of you again and thanks a lot for providing your time today for this particular important session on hybrid working solutions for the new trend webinar by Jabra in collaboration with Microsoft here. Having said that, I'm just passing on the next slide to Damon to go forward. Damon, over to you.
Thanks, Gaurav, and good morning to everyone. So thanks of all, long time no see. Hopefully we will be able to meet soon again. Some of you have already been meeting up. Again, I hope as well that in the next half when we actually are able to do a sort of a live event for all our global and international customers. Hope to see you then as well, because we regularly sort of do these kind of events to make sure that you are regularly updated as well. So what I'm going to do today is just a couple of slides to update you about what's been going on in our space for our global and international accounts, what we've been doing in terms of offers. So the first one is, if you have not seen this, is something that we've recently launched to all our global and international accounts customer. It's a Friends of Jabra employee purchase program. The usual discount is about 30%. We've selected a few models, which is 40%. So we've got some sports versions. We've got the Evolve 265 as well. So something that employees can get as a benefit as well. I think the timings are pretty good as well, given that it's close to June as well, right? So if you're not seeing this, if you need more information, let me know. We can send you a flyer and you can send it out to your contacts and your stakeholders. The next one is a Penacast 50 first buy offer. Some of you have I'm already in discussion with. So it's basically our video soundbar, right? It's been getting a lot of positive reviews in the market. We are offering basically a 10% off for the first unit and 5% off for subsequent units until end of July. So the offer is currently running. Again, feel free to reach out. Something that's coming on the horizon is the hybrid working bundle. We have the Evolve 265 as well as the excellent sort of a Penacast 20. I'm actually using the Penacast 20 right now. Very clear, lots of features as well, right? So very suitable for a hybrid working environment. And again, it's a bundle. It's up to about 40% off. So very good sort of a bundle price there. The last slide I have for you is actually just a standard update. I know most of you are actually, familiar with our Evolve range, right? The Evolve 65 and 75. It's a pretty sort of a good sort of a wireless workhorse. We are actually doing a sort of a switch to the Evolve 75 and 65 SE. And the reason for that is because we are updating the chipset for the current market environment. So everything else stays the same. Essentially, what you're getting is a new chipset. If you already have Evolve 65 and 75 in your environment, so don't worry, it's the exactly same headset. The SKU number might change, so that's something that if we are unable to have the opportunity to update the SKU at your end, just remind me and we can do that as well. So everything else stays the same, just the chipset, right? So including the Outlook and so forth. The Link 380, which is the Bluetooth dongle, that's going to change to match the new chipset as well. And with that, as my simple update, I'll hand it over to the next speaker. Thanks.
Thanks, Damon. So
Agnes, are you able to take the control?
yes, I can.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Damon. Thank you, Gaurav. So I hope everybody can see the presentations. So let me just get started. A very good morning, everyone. My name is Agnes. Do allow me to walk you through the hybrid ways of working and the importance of using the right professional audio solutions. So let's get started. COVID-19 completely disrupted our world for the past 2 to 3 years. As we began to see light at the end of the tunnel, we all know that restrictions have started to ease in Australia right now. Companies reopening their business, people slowly heading back to office. It's time for business leaders to seize the moment and consider how they want to evolve their workplace to fit for the future. Essentially, there are three different types of work models, as you can see from these slides. The office, which of course has been the predominant place of work for most knowledge workers for many years. And then we have the remote, which is predominantly represented by people who are working from home, but it could be working anywhere, even in a cafe as well. So thirdly, we have it's the hybrid, of course, right in the middle. So for hybrid, which is a mix between the office and remote work, where workers would spend time in both locations and places in between. So let's take a look at each of these work models in detail. The first one is, of course, the office work model. And we have known the office work model for the longest time. And it was confirmed again by our recent studies that the office is still the preferred workplace for basically anything that satisfies our needs as humans when we want to connect and socialize. So tasks that requires engagement and collaborations, example, presenting, brainstorming, and even those water cooler chats makes us feel connected and part of the tribe. But the disadvantage of working in an office, for example, let's give myself in the pre-pandemic days where I spend most of my time in office, the key pain point is the surrounding noise in the office where people are constantly talking, walking around, and the interruptions by my co-workers or even my boss tends to affect my productivities and concentrations at work or even taking a call. Next, let's take a look at remote on the other hand. The task that requires focus and concentrations, example, thinking, creativities, and learning new things, we tend to perform more efficiently when we are working remotely. Do you know that remote working also improves our life overall? One very obvious benefit is the time we can actually save commuting to and from the office. Well, there's always the other side of the coin, lack of connections with the team, staying motivated, and challenges with IT equipment are the top three pitfalls with remote work. So that leaves us with hybrid working. Some days in office, some days we work remotely, which in theory gives us the best of both worlds. Most of the employees we survey tells us that their ideal work week should include a good mix of working from home and working in office. While statistics also highlighted that management executive envisions a hybrid working model moving forward. So in conclusions, it seems that there is a certain consensus between the employer and employee that hybrid working is the way moving forward. But when there is changes, there will be definitely challenges. The number one challenges faced will definitely be cybersecurity. Hybrid working basically means people can work anywhere and everywhere. We can no longer rely on traditional ring-fence security systems in headquarters office. The IT team now must think about how to keep the data and their employees safe. Since the pandemic, as you can see from the slides, there has been an increase in cybersecurity complaints, example, eavesdropping, data breach. So are we really ready for this? And also in the next challenge, identify is employees' well-being. I'm sure everyone here may have heard about digital fatigue by now. So just take a look at the statistics in one single platform, say Microsoft Teams. There has been a report of a huge increase in weekly meeting time for users. This means that although we're working from home, we end up spending more time in meetings, working longer hours, and we even have to fiddle with IT equipment to fuel up their exhaustions. Speaking of fiddling with IT equipment, are we really equipped with the right tools and technologies to keep the work efficiently done in a hybrid working environment? Common mentalities like, I just grab a headset that I'm currently using with my iPhone, it will work fine. That is like a typical mentality of most employees out there. But if you look at it, headsets used for work, many of the people are actually using consumer device instead of professional device, especially cater for that constant collaborations on the call in a professional setup. So choosing the right tools matters, and this is the question we're trying to answer today. Why do professional headsets matter in a hybrid working environment? Well, the first thing, of course, certifications matters. Certification is a stamp of approval for professional audio quality, as well as the optimal user experience when working with a unified communication platforms. To ensure the best performance, each certified Jabra products go through an extensive effort to get that stamp of approval. Take Microsoft Teams certifications, for example. For every Jabra certified with Microsoft Teams, it has to go through at least 240 hours worth of testings to ensure the highest standard of user experience. And that also includes in-house testing by Jabra, third-party testings, as well as testings at customer's environment. And we talk about work-centric productivity, in a professional, when you're working now, concentrations, collaborations, and flexibilities is essential and should all coexist. What can be done to help us concentrate better when there is noise and interruptions around us, regardless we're in office or at home? How can we communicate and collaborate better in virtual form when we can't work together in person more now? And due to the way we work in the 2020s, when we talk about flexibility, it means we can work anywhere and everywhere. So in between meetings, you may wish to hop into a cafe to get some work done. How can you concentrate? So let's look into it one by one. The first thing, of course, is how well we can concentrate. It is all about eliminating noise and interruptions to enhance productivity at work. Do you know that sometimes we are the ones that is contributing to the noise? Let's take me, for example. I can talk to my colleague next to me while working on my report and at the same time listening to music on my headphones all at the same time. Do you experience that? So side tones comes in handy for the protections of others around you. If you can hear your own voice clearly when talking, you will regulate it to a normal volume without shouting. And next is the Hallmark Busy Light from Jabra. It is designed to help users to minimize the interruptions from people around them when they need to focus by sending out that highly visible yet polite do not disturb sign. So that will help in terms of concentrations as well. And next, let's talk about collaborations. When we talk about collaborations, it's all about how good the conversation is. This is important because no matter which environment you're working in, home, office, or even a busy cafe, you want your voice to be crystal clear and well understood in a call. Vice versa, we can also understand clearly from the other side coming through the speakerphone. While consumer-grade products are great in general for music listening and video streamings, they do have a microphone and basic call controls built to pick a call, but they are not designed for the work purpose. They are not designed for that constant collaborations on a call in a professional setup. Their microphones are not designed for the work purpose. Jabra professional headsets, on the other hand, especially the Evolve 2 series, which we'll talk a little bit more in the later slides, are equipped with premium noise cancelling microphones to achieve the Microsoft Open standard, Office standard. And we even have boom mount arm control that you can easily mute and unmute just by bringing it up or down. In case you're wondering, what is the impact of bad quality audio in a call? Well, the obvious ones are more hiccups, where you're constantly telling the speaker to repeat the sentence. This will definitely affect the flow and the mood of the entire conversation. It will also influence how you judge the speaker subconsciously, like what is going on? Why is her side so noisy? And most important of all, your mind tends to lose its focus and concentrations. After a while, if you cannot hear clearly the speaker is trying to say, and you're constantly being interrupted. And on top of that, bad audio not only gives a poor call experience, it also influences the speaker's image and in certain cases the company's. Imagine your sales team is doing a sales pitch to the client and experience poor audio quality. He or she may perceive the client may perceive the speaker as less professional, unprepared, or even less intelligent. How can you expect the sales team to build trust with the client with that call in that call? Lastly, let's take a look at flexibility. As I mentioned in my earlier slides, due to the way we work in the 2020s, when we talk about flexibility, it means we can work anywhere and everywhere. Hence, when you work in the coffee shops with Jabra's professional device, the style of the device fits into any environment you work in. And on top of that, we support the flexibility of usage while charging. And most of the models are built to cater for multiple device connectivity. So you can connect mobile and laptop at the same time and switch accordingly when needed. In Jabra, we certainly focus on providing the right experience of the device to help users to be more productive at work, but also we take care of individual well-being. We have a sister company who is focusing on hearing aids business, which allows us to leverage their insights and understandings of hearing to deliver the protections our user headsets deserves. All of our professional devices comes with a high standard of hearing protections. So when you're busy taking care of work, we are making sure your hearing is being protected. Now, I hereby would like to introduce you to the Jabra Evolve 2 series, the new standard where we raise the bar in almost every parameters to combat the pain around concentrations, collaborations, and flexibility due to the way we work in the 2020s. In the Evolve 2 lineup, we introduced a new generations of noise isolating ear cushions and ANC, which will silence the environment around the users. This is greatly going to help the users to concentrate, especially in a noisy environment. On top of that, in Jabra, we know that brilliant music quality is essential as well for music lovers like me. I need that music bubble to keep me stay focused. To stop the interruptions, we also step up the busy light design, making it far more visible from all angles. And to cater for the increased amount of collaborations, we have also added more microphones than ever and developed new algorithms to remove even more noise from your conversations. And when we talk about flexibility, it's not only about providing the all-new design, but also the huge step up in battery times, as well as solid connectivities to all your devices. All the Evolve 2 models are also Teams certified and equipped with premium noise cancelling microphones to achieve the Microsoft Open Office standards. You can see from these slides, we have the Evolve series as well as the Evolve 2 series coexisting simultaneous in the roadmap. This is to cater for different customers' needs and budget. The only difference is that Evolve 2 is we are bringing a premium upgrade in every core features to fight the productivity pain points that it has risen in the last decades. That's the end of my presentations, and I'd like to pass the time to Mario. Thank you.
Thanks, Agnes. And welcome, everyone. My name is Mario De Silva. I'm a global black belt at Microsoft, and I work with a lot of large customers in the hybrid workspace, looking at the journey that customers are going through in terms of their meetings experience as well as their callings experience. Today, I'm going to largely focus on the calling component of it, but I think we'll all agree that hybrid work and COVID has changed the way we work today. I put up some stats here. This is a work trend index that Microsoft's conducted in 2022, a more recent one since things have started opening up. You can go up to the Microsoft site, do a search online, and you'll be able to just search Microsoft Work Trend Index 2022. You can get access to this. For me, I love this document because it tells me statistically how the work environment's changing. So I'm not going to go through every detail, and this is not going to be numbers and that PowerPoint over here. But on the right-hand side of the screen, if you look at it, 3 times more people are applying for roles on LinkedIn if it has hybrid or remote work as part of the job description compared to if it's a full-time office job, right, where you're expected to go into the office every day. And in this day and age, when there's a big competition for skilled resources, that's a huge change. And I think organizations really need to change the way they think about work, right? We used to always say work is not where you go, it's what you do. But I think more and more now that people have got used to working from home, had that flexibility, people will still go into the office from time to time to have that social interaction and form teams. But I think the expectation is going to be that the flexibility is going to be available to them when they want it. The other one, I think on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see over there, 57% of employees want to continue to have flexibility and remote work as their key kind of options available to them. Now, I can tell you that works diametrically opposite to what leaders within business are saying, because leaders want to try and get people back into the office because organizations have invested in expensive real estate. They want people back in the office. And the perception is if you're not working in the office from leaders that you're not working. But I can tell you the end users or the employees actually want flexibility. And based on the tool sets and the signals we get from teams and other things, we can see how employees are being productive. And I think the productivity has gone up over the COVID break, in fact, rather than going down. But take a look at the document. I would encourage you to share it with your HR team, for example, to give them a sense of how the market or how the workplace is evolving currently. Agnes has gone through some of this, so I'm not going to drill into this a whole lot in detail, but I think we'll all agree that on there's IT budgets and pressures, and resources are a challenge for most organizations, and people are wanting to collaborate more and have that flexibility of doing it remotely. Just another statistics, I guess, from a Microsoft Teams perspective, we saw a huge uptick in Teams adoption as part of the lockdown over the last 30 months, or the restricted travel and all those capabilities over the last 30 months with COVID that we saw. From a Microsoft Teams adoption perspective, prior to COVID, we had roughly 70 million monthly active users on the platform. Over the COVID break, and currently even growing right now, we've got roughly 270 million active users on a monthly basis, nearly a 3 times increase in the monthly active users on the platform. It just shows how people are gravitating towards tools that help give them flexibility, work from home, and capabilities. If you look at it from a phone call perspective, you can see at the bottom over there on the screen, it was roughly 650 million minutes of calls that were there before, or monthly calls, I should say, not minutes of calls, but monthly calls, but that's grown up to over 1 billion calls. So the adoption of technology has been phenomenal over the last 3 years. Microsoft Teams, a lot of customers love it because it's a platform for collaboration. It is your meeting platform, and it is also your phone system platform. It's all in one. When COVID struck, we saw lots of organizations deploy Teams for the work from home and the video capability and meeting platform. What we're now beginning to see is a lot of organizations actually deploying it for the phone system platform, because they're seeing phone as an isolated solution. Having a phone sitting on a desk today does not mean anything to anyone if someone's working from home, right? So people want to have the same capabilities of that phone embedded in the client with Teams, and we're seeing a huge uptick in adoption of that platform as well. So let me give you, I'm not sure how many of you have deployed Teams, and how many of you have deployed Teams from a voice or a phone system capability perspective. But on the screen, and I know this is going to be a bit small to see, but you can see at the bottom half on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that there's a soft phone capability within the Teams platform itself. You can see the 3x4 dial pad. You can see the call history, calls made, calls missed, all that kind of information. You can click and call someone if you missed a call straight out of this interface. You also get all your voicemails delivered into this interface. And on the if you look at the extreme right on the bottom half of the screen, you'll notice that that's a voicemail that's been left for the person, whoever's soft phone this is. At the bottom, there's a play icon where they can actually play the voicemail message if they choose to, or there is a transcription of that voicemail as well. So they don't actually have to play it. If you're in a public place and you don't want to play it, you don't have your headphones on you, you can still read the message that was left and is made available to you. And the biggest part of this whole solution is the consistency and experience across the mobile platform, the web platform, as well as your desktop client or your laptop client that you've got, right? So bringing the phone into Teams makes it more available to people in this hybrid work environment that we're looking at today. Going further, it's not only a basic phone, right? It's also got the capability to record calls that you have. It also records with transcription if you choose to. There's a lot of enhanced capabilities that are actually built into this platform that is available to you with the same familiar interface that you've used for the last 2.5 years if you adopted Teams as part of your work from home strategy, and which a lot of customers have in Australia, at least that I come across. If you haven't, I'm happy to have a conversation with you and help you go on that journey as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to me through Jabra or through LinkedIn or any other sources as well if you want. But it improves productivity quite tremendously from an end user perspective. The administration side of Teams, I thought it's important to put this here, and predominantly for one reason, and why we are here with Jabra on this call, right? So you can see on the top right-hand corner, there's a call quality dashboard. One of the things we found with Microsoft Teams is if an end user complains or a customer complains about low or bad quality of the phone call or the meeting they were in, if you take out the network out of the picture, the large proportion of the issue is linked to not having a certified headset for the platform. Right? And Microsoft gives you the ability to actually look at what headsets that individual used when that bad quality came in, or whoever they were calling, what headset was being used as well, provided, of course, they are internal to the organization. That level of detail actually gives you the ability to say, hey, we've got people, like Agnes mentioned, that are using their iPhone earbuds while on a Teams call. It has no sound canceling. It picks up all that background sound, and that contributes to the bad experience that people have within a call or within a meeting. So I would strongly encourage you to invest in certified handsets, such as the Jabra Evolve 2s that you'll see a demo of after I finish this part of the session, and actually make sure that your end users are getting the best experience. The best part of it is I'm using a Jabra certified headset today. The best part of it is you can use it with your laptop, you can use it with your mobile device, and it's your phone system or your meeting experience going with you wherever you are on your laptop or your mobile device, and gives you that flexibility to work from anywhere at any time. I've spoken about the device a fair bit already. So one of the key things is you've got a lot of choice in devices. Now, some customers are still going to say, no, I want a handset in my office, and you've got to cater for that scenario. But I can tell you personally from the experiences I've had with large organizations, large and medium-sized organizations actually, is that 80 to 90% of the employees will prefer a headset over a handset when they're using Teams as a platform. And the reason for that is the flexibility that they're going to get through that device. And Jabra is a great partner of Microsoft in this journey. Like I said, you will have some people that will want a handset. And I'll give you an anecdote of a customer of mine that said they wanted a handset. I was talking to a CIO. This is about probably 8 years back, actually, even prior to the pandemic. And I was talking to him about soft phones and the flexibility and all those capabilities. And I was talking to the CIO, and the CIO said to me, "But Mario, I need to have a handset, and for one simple reason." I said, "What's that?" He said, "If I want to slam the phone down when I'm having a heated conversation, I can't do that with a soft phone or a headset. I need a handset." So you're going to have to cater for every type of person in your organization. I would suggest that the people that require handsets are going to be few, and the larger population of your organization is going to want to have headsets and the flexibility. And through the Jabra range, you've got different headset types as well, with cabled headsets, with wireless headsets, Bluetooth headsets. You've got the full range of devices. Make sure you give your employees the choice that best meets your business needs. With that, I'll hand over to Lloyd to walk you through a demonstration of the Evolve 275 device.
Cool. Thanks, Mario. I'll just share my screen quickly here. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Lloyd Nuckup. I'm the systems pre-sales engineer in Australia, based in Sydney. So I'll be doing a quick demonstration of the Evolve 275. Well, let me just quickly share the right screen here. All right, cool. Okay, so what does the Evolve 2 range look like, firstly? So this is the Evolve 2 range. We have a range from wireless to wired headsets, ranging from entry level all the way to our flagship, which is the Evolve 285. All right. So as Damon mentioned earlier, the Evolve series, which is the one at the bottom there, it's still available to be purchased. So there is an upgrade process that we can do. So Evolve 30 to Evolve 230 and so forth, right? So you can see at the top there, the main differentiators of and unique value propositions of the Evolve 2 range is that it is all getting it all has a open office certification, meaning it can be used in an open space, and it has the Microsoft Teams variants. So it's got Microsoft Teams certification also across the range, right? So it's also got the new design. So we've taken the design from the consumer side of the business, and we've embedded it into the new design of the Evolve 2 so that it has a more consumeristic look. Because there's a lot of people that want to now use the office headsets, but also use it for listening to music when they're on the train. They don't want to necessarily use an office headset in the train, for example, right? So we'll focus on the Evolve 275. What are the main features? So it's Bluetooth, but then also can connect via wire. So if you're in an office and you're experiencing some degradation of the call quality because of the 2.4 gigahertz saturation, being the channel being too saturated, you can connect via wire, and you can get rid of that the jitter. It's also got ANC, just like the previous Evolve 75. It's got on the Microsoft Teams variant, it's got the Microsoft Teams button. So what does that actually do? It pretty much provides you a more seamless experience when using it with a Microsoft Teams client. So for example, if you had a missed call or if you have an upcoming calendar, if you press the Microsoft Teams button, it'll bring up the latest notification pretty much to the foreground. If you have no notifications, it'll just bring Microsoft Teams up to the foreground, right? 360 degrees busy light. So this is quite good. It's quite different. Usually the busy light is on the tip of the microphone boom arm. But in this instance, you can actually see it from a horizontal perspective, not vertical, horizontal, 360. So at the back, if someone's trying to engage you from the back, they can see that you're on a call. All right, it's got a very long talk time. As you can see here, it can have up to 36 hours. And it is also managed through our central management platform, which is Jabra Express 2.0, right? Okay, so just moving straight to a quick demonstration of the product itself. So I'll show you my Microsoft Teams client here. So what is RCC? RCC is considered as remote call control. That's being able to control the client basic call control features from the headset. So an example of that is if I press the mute button on the headset, you can see that it syncs to the client as well, right? So answer button, on hook, off hook, you can do it all from the headset. And obviously the value proposition of this is that it reduces the call handling time of your conversations, and also it makes it easier to use the headset with the client. All right. We mentioned that the microphone on these Evolve 2 range are really good, and that's because we've taken the contact center kind of design into the Evolve 2 range. So taking the contact center microphones and kind of put it into the professional office headsets that we have. And we'll do a quick test of that now. So what I'll do is I'll change my microphone to the PC microphone just to show you a test of how it sounds like from my PC. So I'm now using the microphone on my PC, and I'll just play some background noise using my mobile phone. Right. So that's a fan or aircon playing, if you consider that, let's say in an office. And now if I move back to my Evolve 275, you'll hear straight away the difference, right? So my voice is more clear. You can barely hear the fan playing from my mobile phone, and that's because, yes, exactly that. We've taken the design of a contact center headset into the office professional headset. I'll show you the actual picture of picture of the Evolve 275, but what I'll do is Damon mentioned we also sell a personal camera called the Panacast 20, which is what I'm also using right now. So it's a 4K quality video, and one of its features is called picture-in-picture. Right, so picture-in-picture uses the ability of having two video streams into one. So what I'll do now is I'll use that feature to show the Evolve 275 product. So this is Jabra Direct. I'm just going to enable the picture-in-picture capability. And what I'll do is I'll share my video. Okay, so this is what picture-in-picture looks like. I'm now going to zoom in to the Evolve 275. So this is what the Evolve 275 looks like, right? And you can see that the microphone actually tucks in quite well, and it's magnetic as well. So when you're in the office, you can have the microphone boom arm for better quality. And then when you're listening to music, when you're on the go, you can just tuck it in, right? You can see that this is a Microsoft Teams variant because it's got a Microsoft Teams icon there. And you just press that to answer calls and do those things that I mentioned earlier. Now, this picture-in-picture capability from the Panacast 20, the benefits of this is that you can do exactly what I'm doing now, show a product or show something on your that you have in the room, but then maintain the engagement of my facial expression. So for you guys as the virtual participants, you guys can still feel engaged in a conversation with me, right? And that's pretty much it from my side of things. Cool. Thanks, Gareth.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for that quick interactive demonstration as well. Uh, so all the participants here, thanks a lot for being here till now. And now we will open for Q&A. While we do that, let me just quickly make an announcement here that post this particular call, Damon will be reaching out to all of you to kind of make Evolve 2 available to every one of you, in terms so that you can actually personally feel the kind of difference you have from the other headsets which possibly you are using as of today. And if not, then if in case you are using any of our Evolve series, you will feel the difference in Evolve 2's what we are doing. So Stay tuned. Just post after this particular webinar. Once we close it, you'll be reached out by Damon, and everyone over there will be kind of handed over with an Evolve 2 from Jabra. Now we open for Q&A. While we start with the Q&A here, one of the key questions, possibly Lloyd, one which is for UN as well, as we kind of uh, see, or I think most of the time customer do ask. We do have certifications on our Evolve tools and Evolve, and certain times we do present it like we have UC Open Office certification, and then we are talking about Microsoft Office certification. I think that's one of the key important difference with I think our esteemed participants here would like to definitely understand. So let me kickstart with that particular question for you, Lloyd.
Cool. So let me just get it straight. You want to understand the difference between the UC variant and the Microsoft variant?
Yes.
Okay, that is a common question, Gaurav. So the Microsoft Teams is a UC client, right? So why wouldn't the UC client, UC variant work with Microsoft Teams? The answer is it actually does. But the main difference of having a Microsoft Teams variant is that when you plug in the dongle, for example, of the Microsoft Teams variant, it will automatically make that device the default communications device. So when I mentioned seamless, that's what I mean by seamless. It's more plug and play than the UC variant. Whereas with the UC variant, you'd have to go to the Microsoft Teams settings, go to the audio and change the mic and the speaker so that you can use the UC variant in Microsoft Teams. With the Microsoft Teams variant on the Evolve 2, it also provides the remote call control that I mentioned earlier, and also the Microsoft Teams button, which provides the most recent notification to the foreground.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Thank you quickly, Lloyd, on that. And definitely, while we are here, I'll request all the participants. This is an open forum now. Prospectively, if you want to share any of your insights, or possibly if you're using any of the Jabra's Evolve tools, with that specifically, let me call upon. Mr. Raj Mohan, I understand that you have for a certain time possibly utilized or maybe tested around for Evolve 275 in case if you want to share your experience through that.
Yeah. Well, I thought the that mic that was able to flip up and flip down. So I thought that was pretty handy. Um, and as compared to the older model of the 75, that can be a little bit large. This is more discreet in that sense. And also, we were initially hesitant to move. Well, traditionally, most of our headsets are wired as opposed to a wireless one due to the interference with multiple wireless network within the office. So that's it. I've not experienced any untoward incidents where there's a poor reception in that regard. So yeah, I mean it's been pretty. I'm pretty satisfied with the performance.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Raj, for sharing your first-hand experience on the same. And what we do have a question from Danielle as well. Hi, Danielle. Please go ahead.
Hi, Graf. Thanks, mate. The question is for Lloyd again, and it's on the Evolve 275. So you mentioned that the speaker, you can flick it up, which is fantastic. A lot of feedback we had from our people is that they wanted something that felt more like a consumer headset so that they could use it on the train, like you mentioned earlier on. Does the speaker actually work when it's flicked up, or does that mute the speaker functionality?
That's a good question, Daniel. So in the Jabra Direct software that I mentioned earlier, you can actually configure. So when it's flicked up, it doesn't just mute. It will use the microphones on the ear cups. So there's actually microphones on the ear cups as well, so that you can use it. You can still talk with the microphone boom arm up. Does that answer your question?
It does. I imagine the quality of the sound that is picking up through the speaker is going to be compromised with the microphone being up, but you're saying it still does work. The quality just won't be as good.
Yes, compromise is a bit too much, I think. It's still quite good. It's still quite good. But yes, it won't be definitely not as good as like the true wireless earbuds that we have out there in the market, right? They're not as good for quality calls because they don't have a directional microphone. So yes.
Fantastic. Thanks, mate.
Great. Thank you so much for asking that question, Daniel. Any other questions, participants? So while the questions are being thought through, one of the key things, definitely I would definitely like to share here. You know, while Mario, you were kind of presenting out all the inputs in terms of all the insights which has been kind of taken as per the Microsoft study. You know, this one thing definitely intrigued me in terms of the 3x time of remote jobs. At least 2.6 times have been big more views, right, in on LinkedIn. And the other day, and this is just a recent connection with one of our key clients, on the enterprise level, was having a discussion about how and where Jabra can help to kind of even identify, because of the large attrition which they are facing from past 2 years, right? Is that and when the reason is kind of found out, or they are trying to study that, what they are finding it out is they are saying that they don't have a quality conversation, either during their project discussion or a client discussion, which is somewhere being impactful on their performance reviews with the manager, saying that, okay, while you are on a particular client call, you are not able to give your 100%, or possibly you are not that focused, right? And at the same point of time, what they want to do is even try to go to the level that they want to understand that how many times and how long a manager is having a quality conversation, or I think the number of times or the length of the call which they are going to have with their employees to retain them back. What is the kind of relationship a manager is kind of sharing with the particular employees or their reportees? And 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 that's where they were kind of asking how good we have that collaboration with Microsoft. At the same point of time, they were also looking towards the kind of portfolio. Definitely, we have a larger portfolio where we can even provide the data insights, in terms of the call length, in terms of how many times there has been a crosstalk as well, right? And of course, the background noise element, which kinds of comes there. So I was just that intrigued me to share that incident, and I'm sure such things has definitely come to you as well in terms of what kind of insights you can provide from Microsoft.
I think organizations need to reset the expectations that the employees have. And I think if you look, so this survey was not an Australian survey, right? To be very clear, this is a global survey across 30 countries. I think it's 30,000 people that were interviewed as part of this survey. There was 1,000 people in Australia, 1,000 people in New Zealand as part of this survey. And I think if you do a survey of everyone on this call, I'm sure one size does not fit all, right? There'll
Yeah.
be some people who'd say, I want to work from home all the time. I personally like to go into the office 2 days a week because I can catch up with people, have my face-to-face meetings on those 2 days a week. But the remaining 3 days, I'm going to work from home. And I think managers need to actually, as a result of this, have to invest a lot more time with their employees to actually keep them engaged, to make sure they're coaching them remotely, to make sure that, especially I joined Microsoft. I've been at Microsoft for 15 years. I'll use my own example, right? I've just rejoined again 9 months back. I left twice and they keep pulling me back in. So I've just rejoined actually 11 months. Time flies. 11 months back. Now, I joined in the middle of the pandemic. I think people need to be aware, or managers need to be aware of how do they onboard an employee. That onboarding experience has a big impact on that employee to feel part of that team. How do you make sure you feel like you're part of a team and a community and of an organization? Those are things that managers need to invest substantial time in. I think the customer engagement, there will be some customers, I can tell you most of the customers I work with would love to do online calls today, or at least part of their team might be in the office, part of their team is remote, right? It's not always easy to get everyone into the city on the same day to have a face-to-face meeting. And I think those are the kind of things organizations need to take into account when they're thinking about how do my employees need to work and how am I going to retain at least my good performers, right? The people who are most important to my organization. I want to make sure I retain them because there's huge competition out there for resources, and flexibility is one. I would say if everyone on this besides salary and those kind of things, I think flexibility would be the next biggest and most important criteria that people are looking for when they're looking for their next roles.
Yeah, that's great insight, Mario. Thank you so much. While we have we are jumping on at another 2 minutes for closing of the webinar. Um, it will be really great to hear from a few of our esteemed customers as well here. In case of any kind of strategy you kind of running for your organization, Brian, if you want to give some insight in terms of how IQVIA is kind of looking towards in the hybrid environment in this post-pandemic world, that will be really helpful to share with the participants and the forum here.
Yeah, hi everyone. You guys can hear me all right?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, excellent. I'm actually joining you guys from using AirPods on my mobile. So, apologize if you guys can hear background noise. But it's very much in line with what you guys have described around that transition from office space to completely remote through the pandemic, and now as our offices opened up and the offices getting much busier, we've definitely migrated globally our workforce into a hybrid working model, where employees can come in 2-3 days into the office a week, and is actually expected that employees will come in at a minimum of at least one day a week. I've been in the office as well, and I can relate to that office noise that we definitely hear when we are in the office. It's obviously very different to what you're used to, where working remotely, you've got well, in most cases, people would have a dedicated room that is kind of quiet and secluded when you're working remotely. So, I've also had experience with the Evolve 265. I use the Evolve 265 myself. And I think it's a really great headset. It does everything that Lloyd has highlighted, connectivity to multiple devices, my mobile and my laptop simultaneously. It switches seamlessly between the two devices as well. And I've got the Microsoft certified one. So, again, just having that ease of being able to push a button to join a meeting is, I think, understated in how minor that might seem. It definitely just has that ease of use, and it just works basically from my perspective. So I definitely see the value in it, and I know that we're a pretty big consumer of Jabra headsets in certain regions in the Asia Pac. And I know Damon's got pretty strong relationships with a lot of my team members across the Asia Pac region, and we've had multiple discussions around what's sort of suitable for our business unit. But yeah, my experience so far with the Evolve 2 series has been pretty positive in the changing workforce environment.
That's great. Thank you for sharing your feedback there, Brian. Thank you so much. And I think we are on top of the hour here, and I think it will be great. And thanks a lot for joining and taking our time for this quick webinar. Please look forward and stay tuned. Damon reaching out to you, and please don't miss his call. If I will be you, I will not be missing that. I'm sure, Damon, there will be something in your kitty for me as well, and all the speakers here. So we will also wait for some of your call to us. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Great.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.